Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Put a Ring on It. So, this episode started literally where it left off last time, and you can tell that Hollywood was very upset that Ashley has decided that she wants to go out on a date with Kwame again, and he's committed to just being there to see what she gonna do because he already know what he want to do now. And she is just like, I feel like Hollywood is trying to stifle my process. And I'm going to do what I need to do to see what I need to do when this is all said and done. So she's actually committed to seeing this through to the end. And like I said, Hollywood has already made his stance on that. So anyway, this week, everybody is going to go out on dates. Y'all know every now and again, she'll have it where only a select few people are going out on dates. And certain couples will just stay at home and do whatever they're going to do to, work on themselves. But everybody's gonna go out on dates, whether or not they've already had dates that they said I want to go out with them again or not. So Shay is linking up with Rick again. And as we already know, she only said yes because Michael said yes again to Whitney. And I'm just like, why can't you make up your mind and instead of just saying, okay, Michael said this, so let me go on ahead and go behind him and be like, you know what, since you want to do this gonna be my move. It's like, don't try to think that you're playing chess when you're not, because you are wasting your own time. Because there are times when you really could have been trying to make a connection with somebody, or you really did have a connection with somebody, but you sitting up here talking about some, well, if my man say that he gonna go out on a date with somebody else, then I'm just gonna be petty too. And it's like, that's not the point. I'm not understanding why she's not understanding that's the point. That's not the point of all of this. Anyway, she ended up meeting up with Rick. They were playing basketball, and they basically was like, well, if I make my shots, as long as we both making our shots, everything is fine. But she told him that if he misses his shots, he got to pick her up because she has some kind of thing about thinking that she gonna test somebody by picking her up and all this other stuff. And he said that if she misses her shots, she has to kiss him on the cheek. So she is, I guess decent at basketball. And y'all know he actually plays or did play overseas professional basketball. And so he was doing well, and then eventually he missed. And I think he did it on purpose because he wanted to pick her up. So anyway, she ended up getting picked up like she wanted to. She enjoyed it a whole lot. And y'all, I'm gonna give y'all my commentary on what she said about the picking up of her and all of that later on. But anyway, she was basically trying to make it seem like they enjoyed their date, whatever. Okay, y'all already know I ain't here for Shay because of how I just can't. I ain't here for her. I'm not here for her. Ever since she did what she did in reference to Zion, who is Michael's child, I ain't been here for her. So I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm happy-go-lucky because she is supposedly having a connection with somebody else. I ain't here for it, whatever. So anyway, oh yeah, so I can't say it now, I'm sorry. So anyway, she's trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm testing him to see if he can, he actually has the strength and he can deal with me, if he can handle me physically and all this other stuff. And I'm like, girl, bye. I don't want to hear that because as big as I am, there have been men who have been less than 150 pounds soaking wet who have picked me up at this size without struggling. Picked me up like a feather and laid me down like a feather. So that don't mean nothing. I don't tell my bird chest, all of that, literally skinny. So I don't understand what you thought that you were going to accomplish by somebody just picking you up. Anybody can pick you up whether they have a muscle or not. That don't mean nothing. Anyway, so anyway, Hollywood went on his date with this new person. As I already told y'all, he basically has made it plain that he ain't really trying to, say, yeah, I'm going on a second date with somebody else, because he already said last time that he feels like if you go out on a date with somebody else, that you over here and you got a lot going on and you trying to, catch feelings for somebody. Y'all, oh, I can't wait till I get to the end. But anyway, he was going out on his date. The new person's name is Shantae. I'm probably saying it wrong. Shanta, Shantay. I'm probably saying it all the way wrong. And I spelled it the way that she had it spelled up there. I think I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, he went on a date with her. They went to this like jump situation. Like, oh, okay, if you ever saw, what show was it? Married to Medicine. And they had Dr. I don't know why I can't think of her name. One of the doctors, she does this Fitney thing every year. And one year they were at this athletic place where you can bounce and play basketball at the same time and all this other stuff. Where Hollywood and Shantay were, wherever they were actually able to do that, but they were playing like volleyball. And so they looked like they had fun. It looked like it was cool. And he seemed like he was actually opening up a little bit to her. So I was here for that. Okay, y'all. So, I mean, it's still the Wazam for me. I don't know about y'all, but I was here for it. Every time he say Wazam and all of that, I be here for the lingo, y'all. I don't know if y'all be catching all that, but I be catching it. I be here for it. I live for it. So anyway, we finally actually hear why he is called Hollywood. His grandmama actually gave him that nickname when he was born. So I was like, okay, then we have a backstory, because I was like, please tell me he does not go by Hollywood because of the TV show and where it's located and all that stuff. That's what I was low-key thinking. I ain't finna lie to y'all. That's what I low-key thought it was. So I'm glad it actually is something like that, because I have a female cousin that they call Hollywood, and they do it because she thinks she everything. And y'all, I ain't gonna go into that, but it's kind of a negative connotation, but she takes it as something classy or whatever. But she thinks she's more than what she is the reason why they call her Hollywood. So I'm gonna let that sizzle in your spirit, as Wayne, what's his name, Country Wayne said. So anyway, seemed like the date was cool. And so she lost. And so what she had to do was do a flip. But since she was kind of scared to do a flip or couldn't do a flip, she did a toe touch. And so he was satisfied with that. But he ended up doing him a little flip. But I was like, okay then. He did 2 of them. He was like, I still got it. I'm like, yeah, you sure do. Because I know I be broke my neck some kind of way. I ain't got time. So anyway, Michael and Whitney actually went out on their 4th date. And the majority of the time, they were just discussing how they were going to go about communicating with one another, because he already told her that he's going to have to figure out a way to do that, because the chemistry is there. He does like her. She likes him. And he still has to come up with a way to do that, because essentially they just talk now whenever they do link up for these dates, if you can even call them dates at this point, because nothing's happening in between, because normally you have something to kind of warm you over and, you know, kind of keep you warmed up until y'all meet again, but they don't get to talk, they don't get to do nothing. So it's like, what am I gonna do? So she confronted him about it and was like, you know, I need to know something, because eventually I'm gonna get tired of it and I'm going to just remove myself from the situation, because I know what I want. So I don't want to just keep sitting up here wasting my time. So I'm glad she said that. It is what it is. I don't blame her. So Hollywood is at the house with Ashley. He working out. He on his little bench press. He working it out. And Ashley's there, like I said, and her date is going to come to the house. And y'all know Kwame is her date. Kwame fine. So anyway, Hollywood ends up actually getting the door. And y'all, he seemed cool at first. And I'm like, Hollywood kills me how he does this passive thing where he'll make you think he cool with you, but then he starts saying little stuff, and it's like, okay, you in your feelings, you got something going on with you. You're jealous, you're mad, you're something. So anyway, he was trying to intimidate this man by saying little stuff. He was like, well, you know, how many dates y'all been on? And then he tried to act like he didn't remember that man's name. Like he really was trying to intimidate him. I was like, Lord, I'm tired. So, look, I'm sorry. I peeped it. I don't know if anybody else peeped it, but Kwame and Ashley walked into this like, DZ, Discovery Zone. Discover what I can do on my own. One of them little like arcade play like places. I don't even know what the name of the place was. I don't even know if they put it up there. But it was a place where they was going all throughout it and playing little games or whatever. We had a DZ, man. That thing got destroyed by some hurricane or something that came through, tore it all the way down. It was crazy. But anyway, they were up in there. They walked in looking like a whole couple. And I was just like, well, excuse me. Excuse me then. I mean, if I hadn't have been watching this show, I really would have thought they were a couple. I was like, oh, all right then. So yeah, they, you know, the chemistry is really there. They had a lot of fun, and they was getting some hugs in. And so she was talking about she might need a little bit more convincing to see if she was going to, you know, go out on a third date with him, and, you know, might have to convince her with a hug. And I was like, ma'am, that's dangerous, because I'm a hugger. Like, I am big on hugs. I really am. And if I'm interested in you, it's going to be completely different, of course, from the hugs that I give my family and my friends or whatever. It's going to be, you going to feel it. You going to know. You going to know that I'm here for you. It's going to be real tight. It's going to be real long. It's going to be loving. I'm already soft. So it's just going to be a lot going on. It's going to be fire. It's going to be the way that Shay loves to sit up there and say that every single man who ain't Michael makes her feel. That's what's going to be going on if I'm hugging somebody that I have chemistry with. So, Ashley, you might need to come up off them hugs. You might need to come up off them hugs, and Kwame fine too. Oh my gosh. I was like, ma'am, you going to come up off them hugs. That gonna get you into trouble. That really can get you into trouble though. Sis, calm down. Okay. So, Tamika and Vince are at the house. And Tamika gets the door, and he went on, this is him going on his second date with the woman who does photography as well. Her name is Christina, if I'm not mistaken. And her shoes are cute. Like, I like shoes that are like that, like a wedge type tennis shoe, whatever. And he was actually gathering up his photography stuff, all of his equipment, because they were going to go out on a date where they both were going to showcase their skills as far as photography is concerned. But before they left, interestingly enough, they ended up sitting down at the breakfast nook, the table, or whatever it was, y'all. And they were talking, and I think that kind of wanted to know, like, what was going on with them and, you know, what kind of led them to this point. And then out of nowhere, Tamika's like, player. I was just like, why though? And he was even in the confessional, like, that was just so, like, why would you do that? Like, I was just like, sir, I agree. I didn't know what was going on either. Why? So anyway, I was just like, I don't understand. So, as y'all know, I've already discussed this before, y'all. He put the glasses on. The glasses came out, y'all. And I was like, yes, Lord, come through glasses. I told y'all I already told y'all I'm an eye person. It was everything. So he put them glasses on. His eyes opened up some more. And I was like, yes, Lord. So he put them glasses on. And they seemed to have a great date. They were doing a lot of things. We were taking pictures of one another and different things that were in the room at the place that they were at. It was called All ATL, All That ATL. It was supposed to be like a play on All That or something by ATL. So anyway, it had like various things that were associated with Atlanta, people, places, TV shows, all that stuff that was set up in there, like props from it or whatever, or just pictures of those things. And they were taking pictures, like I said, of themselves and the props that were in there. And, you know, they seemed to have a nice little vibe. I was like, okay, then. I found it to be interesting how he mentioned the type of lens that he used. And I noticed it too, but I just found it interesting that he actually said it out loud to her. But that was just for me, because I've done photography before when I was in a magnet school for 1 year. No, that's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to do piano, that wasn't available, and I wanted to do art, that wasn't available. So that was the last thing that was available, and they needed people for photography because wasn't nobody signing up for it. And yeah, so I ended up being there for a year, and then I ended up going to where I was originally gonna go after that. So I was just like, nah. I know I wasn't late going to school and nothing like that. I wasn't held back, none of that. I'm just saying it just was not for me. So anyway, they ended up having a great time, and I was like, okay then. So yeah, Tamika's on her date with this guy named Devin, and they are in an escape room, coincidentally. Y'all, I did that before, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later on if I think about it to make the correlation. So anyway, they were in this escape room. That was not going well for them. And then they sat down and they were talking, and he told her, well, she told him first where she's from, which is Atlanta, Georgia. And she was like, well, where are you from? He said, oh, I'm from the Bronx. And she was like, really? My family's from New York. But they came down to Atlanta, and that's why she's from there. So they already had this connection. She said that he's the type of guy that, is her type. So I was like, okay, interesting. So they had a nice little connection. So I was like, okay then. Because at first I couldn't really tell. So when they sat down and started talking, she actually said that, he's her type. So I was like, oh, okay then. Cool. So anyway, all the couples linked back up to talk to Dr. Nicole. And Tamika finally was able to relax and not worry about what Vince was doing. And even Vince was surprised. But at the same time, she really enjoyed her date, and that kind of worried him in the sense of course, he didn't really want it to go well like that. It made him kind of jealous because they actually had planned to do an escape room together. They never got a chance to do that. And so he wanted those memories to be with the two of them. Now, for my birthday a couple of years ago when I was with my ex, he took me to this escape room, and we didn't do that great. We actually did better than Tamika and her date, Devin. But we went to an escape room, and it was interesting. And I mean, it's a memory, but I mean, it is what it is. So I can understand him saying that he wanted those memories with her. So I'm just like, yeah, I feel you on that. I get you. I understand. So anyway, y'all excuse my lips doing the most. I wanted this matte stuff, but y'all, I messed my own self up. I was supposed to have it, but I messed myself up. So y'all excuse me for that. I'll probably have to do that again at some point. So anyway, yeah, he made it plain that he, was not happy that she made this connection, and then she actually connected with him while at a place that he wanted to go to with her. So yeah, he said his date went fine and all of that, but at the same time, he is glad that progress is happening, because since she's not sitting up there worried and pressed about him, he's like, wow, I can see that we're moving in the right direction, and that's towards trust. And, so I'm like, I'm here for that too. So I see what you mean. Y'all, oh yeah, and then they discussed what happened when they were at the house, because that was a really crazy moment where all three of them sitting down talking, like, for what? Like, oh no, y'all doing a lot. So anyway, Hollywood, let everybody know he had fun on his date, and he just ain't here for no connection. Ashley said that she ended up enjoying her date, and she wanted to see if the same spark she had before was still there, if it was just, for that time, but it ended up being amplified a little bit more. Y'all, ooh, child. I swear I'm so glad Kwame wasn't in the room, because the way that Hollywood was looking in that moment, his jaw was so tight. Oh my gosh, you would have had to pry it open with a crowbar. It was so tight. Ooh, Lord. I'm so glad Kwame wasn't in the room. Kwame would have, I feel like if Kwame had been in that room at that moment, he would have charged him, killed him, and dared the police when they showed up to arrest him. Like, that's how angry. You could tell he was fuming because of how upbeat and amazing Ashley made the date sound. Woo, he was so mad, y'all. Oh my gosh, he blew up. He went all the way off. It was so bad that he said, "Nah, man, I'm done. This don't make no sense. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. I'm done." So Dr. Nicole interjected and was like, "Look, both of y'all want to control one another." And they both tried to be like, "No." And then Ashley was like, "I'm definitely not trying to control him," but essentially they are. And they didn't even realize it until she said it, because it's like Hollywood, she wants Hollywood to experience everything the way she's experienced. Basically, both of them are doing the same thing. They want them to have the same experience and experience this process the exact same way. The way that Hollywood is like, "I ain't really fooling with these people. I'm just trying to get married to her." That's the way he wants her to be. And she wants him to be out there and enjoy himself with all these people. And, you know, just actually be a part of the process. So, yeah, they really are. Y'all, Shay sat up there and discussed her date. Everybody was tired in their spirit, because when she sat up there and explained, first of all, I feel like she knew she was wrong, because the way she was explaining how the date went and the rules that went along with the date as far as what they did when they played that game, everybody was like, "Wait a minute, baby, what is going on here? What you talking about?" And Ashley be on it. Ashley was whispering to Hollywood, was like, "I bet he picked up." No, she said, "He picked up. I know he picked her up." And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she was right. And so she's just really sitting up there explaining this like nothing's wrong. And it's like, ma'am. Meanwhile, Michael is over here being stifled in the situation that he's trying to have with somebody. Don't even know if he could actually have a real, genuine connection with her, because he is tied, gagged, and bound to these boundaries that you have just said, "You know what? These don't apply to me. These rules do not apply to me. They only apply to you." And she tried to explain it away. He actually sat up there and kind of tried to explain it too. I was like, bruh, that ain't how this go. That is not how this go. And I'm not here for that. Don't sit up here and tell me I have these rules that I have to adhere to, but you don't. Goodbye. So anyway, she gonna try to say, "Well, I feel like women are smarter than men, and we have more self-control or whatever, and men, they go too far. So that's why I'm gonna bend and break the rules as I see fit," and all this other girl, bye. So anyway, he wants more of a connection with Whitney. Y'all can tell the death stare she gave that she ain't here for that, of course. And I'm like, but you want to marry him. You say you want to be married. I ain't got time. But anyway, that was the end of the episode. It looks like next week is going to be very explosive. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review. Thank y'all so much for tuning into my channel. I really do appreciate all the love and support that I have been receiving. Y'all are amazing. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all have a good one. And I will see y'all in a little bit for Ready to Love. Bye.